And it's interesting in your notes you've highlighted that at some point next year, one would build the case to buy Chinese equities. But that's a struggle, right? How do you figure out when?
I think that's right. And we've been cautious to underweight EM and particularly based on China for almost all of this year. And we can see a lot of people across the market turning more bullish and trying to call the bottom in that. And we think that may well be right at some point next year, but it's too early to make that call right now. The outlook for the Chinese economy in particular is still a bit murky. It's quite likely that it will bottom and turn maybe in the first, maybe in the second quarter. But, we don't think you need to rush in and get into that right now as calling the exact turn. If you think about all the problems with the property side of the economy, if you think still about the regulation drive, and now you think about Omicron as well, we don't think it's a need to rush in. If you look at 2022 as a whole, yes, there is probably quite a lot of upside to the Chinese market in particular, and that might drag up the whole region, but probably not just yet.
In your outlook for 2022, Patrik, give me your top contrarian bet, if you're being contrarian anywhere.
Our top contrarian bet, I think, actually is not going into EM right now. I think that is quite a consensus call. People trying to get into that. So that's a big one. What other contrarian bet? We like Japan. I don't think many people like Japan. We think it looks cheap. We think it should be geared into the economic cycle as we see. And actually, with Omicron, Japan might be quite nicely set up. They've only vaccinated fairly recently, and generally they've been able to keep this under control quite well. So in a relative sense, this is not good for anyone in an absolute sense, but in a relative sense, Japan actually might look quite good here.